Jesus raises Lazarus. John 11:1 verses 44. In a small village called Bethany, just a few miles from Jerusalem, lived three siblings, Mary, Martha, and their brother Lazarus. They were not just ordinary people. They were loved by Jesus. He had dined in their home. He had shared laughter, stories, and friendship with them. They believed in him, not just as a teacher or miracle worker, but as the Messiah sent from God. But then, something tragic happened. Lazarus fell sick. Not just a mild fever or a passing illness, it was serious, life-threatening. Mary and Martha, desperate and full of hope, sent word to Jesus, "Lord, the one you love is sick." They knew he could heal him. They had seen him open blind eyes, calm storms, and make the lame walk. Surely, he would come quickly for a friend. Right? But Jesus didn't come. Instead, when he received the message, he said something unexpected. This sickness will not end in death. It is for God's glory, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it. And then, he stayed where he was for 2 more days. Imagine how the sisters must have felt. They waited and waited, watching their brother grow weaker, breath by breath. They hoped every footstep outside was Jesus arriving. But he didn't come, and then Lazarus died. The house that once rang with joy and laughter was filled with weeping and mourning. Friends and neighbors gathered to comfort the grieving sisters. The air was heavy with sorrow. Death had won. Or so it seemed. 4 days after Lazarus had been placed in the tomb, Jesus finally arrived in Bethany. Martha, always the one to take action, ran out to meet him. Her voice trembled as she said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." It wasn't accusation, it was pain, raw and honest. But she hadn't lost her faith. She added, "But I know that even now, God will give you whatever you ask." Jesus looked at her with compassion and said, "Your brother will rise again." Martha answered, "I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day." But Jesus wasn't talking about a distant hope. He was revealing something greater, something eternal. He said, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live, even though he dies, and whoever lives and believes in me shall never die." "Do you believe this?" Martha replied, "Yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who is to come into the world." Then she went and called her sister Mary. Mary came weeping. She fell at Jesus' feet and echoed the same words, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her crying, and the others mourning with her, his heart broke. The Son of God, mighty in power, perfect in holiness, was deeply moved. He groaned in his spirit. And then he wept. Jesus wept. That moment speaks louder than many sermons. He didn't weep because he was powerless. He wept because he loved. He entered into their pain. He felt their sorrow. Some of the crowd whispered, "See how he loved him." Others said, "Couldn't he have healed him?" Then Jesus, still deeply moved, came to the tomb. It was a cave with a large stone rolled in front of it. Jesus said, "Take away the stone." Martha spoke up, "But Lord, by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been dead 4 days." But Jesus replied, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" They rolled away the stone. Jesus lifted his eyes to heaven and prayed, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I know that you always hear me, but I said this for the sake of the people standing here, so they may believe that you sent me." Then Jesus shouted, "Lazarus, come out!" The crowd stood still. Hearts pounded. Eyes widened, and then, from the darkness of the tomb, movement. A figure emerged. Lazarus walked out, his hands and feet wrapped in grave clothes, his face covered with a cloth. Alive. Jesus said, "Unbind him, and let him go." And just like that, death lost its grip. Lazarus, once dead, now stood in the light of life. This was more than a miracle, it was a declaration. That Jesus holds the keys to life and death. That he is the resurrection. That even when all seems lost, even when the tomb is sealed, even when the smell of death surrounds a situation, Jesus can speak life. He may not always come when we expect him, but he always comes with purpose. And when he does, it's never too late. So whatever feels buried in your life, your hope, your faith, your dream, know this: if Jesus is involved, it's not over, because he is the resurrection. And he is the life. Even when it looks like it's over, God still has the final word. Keep believing, because your miracle may be one shout away. Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful Bible stories.